Marques Brownlee just uploaded a video in which he soft launched an app that he made called Panels that allows you to download wallpapers for your phone or your desktop that can cost $50 a year. Marques, if I'm gonna pay $50 a year to download photos from an app, that app better be your OnlyFans. MKBHD for $50 a year? I better be seeing some MKBBC HD.
That's a lot of nuts!
Yo, what is going on with YouTubers trying to sell stuff, bro? Is there something in the water over in Los Angeles, Hollywood, New York, something? Mr. Beast is so dedicated to selling his shitty chocolate that he can't even do a podcast interview without it being in the shot 100% of the time. He teams up with known douchebag Logan Paul in the midst of a tremendous amount of drama and actual litigation against a production that he's making in order to sell a Lunchables product that apparently is so good that when one retired Minecraft YouTuber calls them heartless for making it, they make multiple responses just to respond with, "Nuh-uh, it's perfectly mid." And then Marques Brownlee, somebody with 20 million subscribers, arguably the biggest tech influencer in the world, a dude who has torn down companies because of his reviews of them being a bad value for your money, whether it be phones or entire automotive industries, is now trying to sell you wallpapers for $50 a year? It's like you can't even get through a sentence without somebody trying to sell you. Fellas, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, Into the AM, and I just want to ask you a quick question. I look good today, right? You don't need to lie to me, just really think about it. Something feels different. Sumet looks put together today, right? You know what it is? Nothing. I threw on a t-shirt by Into the AM, threw on this cool new trucker jacket that they just sent me from their fall collection, and before I knew it, I look like I have an actual job now. Literally 2 seconds. I put no thought into what I look like despite the fact that tens of people watch me on the internet every single day, and the one time I decided to throw on just a little bit of what Into the AM sent me in the mail, and now I feel like Wolverine. Not joking, when I went to get coffee this morning, the barista asked for my number. I mean, she specifically asked if I was order number 36, but still, that counts. Their slogan for the 2024 fall collection is work hard, wear easy. And let me just say this much, 50 degrees, raining this morning when I went to go get my coffee. Can you even tell that it's 80 degrees and nice and crispy for the 2 or 3 hours that I'll spend recording this video? Because I am in the same outfit. I went a little further and took a look at everything new that they have for the fall 2024 collection, and they don't have any bright reds or bright oranges to completely attract your eyes and throw you off your game. Everything is earth tones, perfectly autumn coated. Browns, olive greens, blacks, rocks, grays. Like, you could blindly buy anything from the fall collection, mix and match them at random, and you will probably still look pretty well put together. They make good stuff. You can click the link in the description or use my discount code Sumito for 10% off your entire order. That's on top of whatever promotions they're currently running on their website for the brand new fall collection, and rest easy knowing that you're helping out the channel in a way that makes it so that I don't need to sell wallpapers for $50. I thank you in advance. So that was weird. Aren't we bashing YouTubers for shilling products and then making money on their viewers' behalf? Sumito, you just did the same thing. This isn't any different. Oh no, don't tell me there's nuance. For the record, there are a few levels between me and Mr. Beast. For example, if I sold my car and threw it at my credit card debt, I would still have credit card debt. It's a little bit different to people who are already multimillionaires trying to sell something to their audience and then getting mad when their audience doesn't buy it. But somehow, we're not actually talking about Mr. Beast and Logan Paul today. We're actually talking about somebody who isn't a heartless, will do anything for profit YouTuber that you would expect to be selling whatever they can in order to make a quick buck. In fact, we're almost talking about the opposite. Marques Brownlee is a technology YouTuber, primarily on his main channel MKBHD, where he uploads videos reviewing smartphones and other home technology. He has, for a very long time, maintained very few sponsorships. In fact, I remember him doing a question and answer video where at like 1 million or 2 million subscribers, he still only had one real sponsor for the channel, which was dbrand. To this day, in his most recent podcast interviews, he still maintains a level of journalistic integrity with the reviews that he makes by not allowing any companies to have any say in the videos or the critiques that he makes, and not even letting them see the video beforehand so that they can't make any changes to their product or give him any information about, oh, this thing that you said was wrong is something we're gonna fix. No, he stays completely out of it, doesn't accept any sponsorships from any of the companies that he's reviewing, and uploads his videos without any input whether or not he got the object for free, which is one of the major things that has led him to become the biggest and the most respected technology review YouTuber on the internet.
Why don't you talk about sponsors in your videos? The simple answer to that is usually because there is no sponsor, but that's very rare. And in fact, the last sponsored video that I've done, I actually had to look it up, was the 100 OnePlus 3T giveaway.
7 years ago, when that question and answer that I just played was recorded, MKBHD had only worked with a small handful of sponsors, and it was almost exclusively to be able to do things that he wouldn't be able to do with his own dime, such as give away 100 phones to his subscribers and viewers. Obviously, over the course of 7 years and becoming one of the biggest YouTube channels on the platform, period, the business has expanded a bit. He has a podcast. He has a channel where he reviews cars and not just phones. He has huge studios, $500,000 cameras that he uses just to obtain shots that other people don't have, because he has to have something to set him apart from the thousands of other people that are all making videos about the same tech that he is in an effort to stand out. It's an expensive endeavor to do the sorts of things that this guy does when you can't even receive the things for free because you don't want it to influence how you feel about the product, which is the level of integrity Marques tries to hold at all times with the videos on his YouTube channel. Even more so than that, Marques has kind of become the voice of the people when it comes to unfair costs for certain products. He was one of the major reviewers to call out the Escobar phone, which was covered in gold but was ultimately just a cheap knockoff phone that wasn't even really a phone and was basically just a scam to either steal your money on the product or your credit card number overall, and he was one of the first people to make a video on that and was even interviewed and interrogated by the FBI over the matter because they wanted to know how he got the phone, knew as much as he did. He has a whole video about it on his channel. Fisker, an electric car company, would notoriously go bankrupt just a few weeks after Marques posted a video saying that this is the worst car that he has ever reviewed. Unfiltered, talking about all the faults of a car that he rented, almost like the company didn't want him to get his hands on it, but he went out of his way to get a unit because he wanted to experience the car that everybody could actually buy off the shelf and not something that they had specially made just for him to try to maybe score some unfair brownie points. And because he was so honest, he received threatening phone calls to the people who rented him the car, trying to figure out who he was, trying to get in contact with him because of this review, and just a few weeks later, the company would go bankrupt. Not directly as a result of Marques, as he would explain in a follow-up video about whether or not bad reviews sell or break bad products. It turns out Fisker was already on the decline, and the brink of bankruptcy was probably months and months in advance, well before he ever got his hands on it. But still, it was enough for pretty much every headline to read, "Major electric car company goes bankrupt because YouTuber says it sucks." I hope I'm painting a clear enough picture to distinct the difference between Logan Paul, who would sell anything if it makes him money, from Lunchables to NFTs, to somebody like Marques, who has sat down with the CEOs or major production leads of smartphone companies and asked them directly, how much does it actually cost you to take out the headphone jack of a phone? This is a dude who understands consumer products. This is a dude who understands people's hard-earned money needing to be worth it and how heavily that influences their perception of whether or not the product that they bought was good or bad, / worth or not worth their money. So how is it possible that he ends up making an app that feels so incredibly tone deaf after all of this? I will take a second to point out that specifically in the interviews that he has with some of these tech heads over the course of the years, people have been critical of the fact that Marques hasn't exactly thrown the hardest pitch questions and has sort of just rolled over and let people like he's interviewed specifically with Apple get away with sort of non-answers and not addressing things like constant price hikes and not innovating enough, and he sort of just skirts around answering questions like that. I don't actually think it's that big of an issue. I think it's just a situation where a YouTuber gets to interview a CEO and they kind of don't want to go at their throat because they have such an opportunity with them. But a different can of worms. I just want to bring that up because everybody in the comments is going to say I'm dick riding him if I don't say anything negative. But I already said I would buy the guy's OnlyFans. I don't know what you want out of me. So let's talk about panels. This is something that is mentioned for like a minute at most at the beginning of Marquez's most recent video talking about the Apple iPhone 16 and 16 Pro. For most tech YouTubers, anybody talking about smartphones, September is the biggest time of the year for you because the new iPhones come out, and this is where people get the most traffic to their channels because everybody wants to know about the new iPhones. Unfortunately, because Apple doesn't really do anything super different with their iPhones over the course of 3 or 4 years sometimes, these videos end up having to become a little bit innovative and a very, very detail-oriented because, you know, it's an iPhone. It's not that much different. That's besides the point. The thing that everybody is focusing on is the first minute of Marquez's video, in which he takes time to launch a new app called Panels, which is basically an app that Marquez is launching in order to allow people to download wallpapers. He points out that over the course of the last few years, a lot of people have asked him where he gets the wallpapers that he puts on the desktops and on the backgrounds of all the phones and the computers that he shows. I recall seeing comments asking him about his wallpapers from like a decade ago at this point, so I know he's not making that up, and the fact that he has been using wallpapers from his app, according to him, over the course of the last year, and is only just now launching the app now to let you download the same wallpapers that he's been using, sounds like a solid app choice to me. No one's paying $50 a year for a regular wallpaper app, lil bro. This update is so incremental that people are just ignoring the phone and making fun of your app. I skipped the promo, watched the entire video, came to read the comments, and then went back to watch the promo. I stopped paying attention to the video because of how entertaining the comment section is. You say your wallpaper app is free, but that comes with the caveat that you have to watch 2 30-second ads per wallpaper, only to end up getting a cropped 16:9 1080p JPEG regardless of the original image's aspect ratio or resolution. Not a good look, man. Oh no, guys, I think I might be wrong on this one. I just spent the better part of 10 minutes trying to differentiate between soulless content creators who sell stuff just to make money, like Logan Paul or Mr. Beast, and trying to set Marques Brownlee above these people as somebody who is more detail-oriented, much more in-depth and in tune with consumer products, selling stuff, somebody who spends the entirety of his waking hours reviewing other people's products to then come out with his own product, one would imagine was something that he put a lot of time, effort, and passion into to make sure it would be received well. So why do the top comments on this video all sound as negative as the ones from Logan Paul's launch of his Lunchly product? First things first, let's take a look at this from a more stepped back perspective, a little more of an overview of the overall landscape, the overall audience that we're talking about here. The internet, YouTube, everybody when it comes to content creators right now are a teeny bit on edge, and it is a little bit Marquez's fault for that. Marques went on a little bit of a spree between the entire Fisker Ocean thing, where an entire car company looked like it had shut down because of a negative review, and then him coming out with a similar video on his main channel where he said this is the worst product I've ever reviewed when talking about that human AI pin thing, specifically stating that he doesn't think it's useful and you can't sell a product based on future promises because they might not come to fruition and you're asking for consumers' money now. And then with all this buzz about Mr. Beast getting canceled and his collaboration with Lunchly just happening the other week, everybody still has blood on their teeth from trying to tear down anybody trying to make a product that's just trying to effectively steal your hard-earned money. I'm sure there are plenty of people who made products over the course of the years that probably got a negative review from Marques, or even more still, average viewers who love their iPhone or whatever it is that Marquez didn't necessarily make the most positive review of, now seeing an opportunity to take something that Marquez has made and try to tear it down just to get back at him. I like to think that the internet's not that cynical, but at the end of the day, people are gonna hate what they want to hate. But let's not be stupid here. Not everybody's gonna take the time to watch the entirety of Marquez's video. The only thing that they're gonna see are news headlines that are probably titled like whatever I decide to title this video as. It's probably something like Marquez Brownlee is making an app that sells wallpapers for $50 a year, and that's what everybody's gonna run with. And to be fair, that is sort of what he's doing. I mean, he only flashes the fact that there's a $50 per year option if you want to support their future endeavors for like 2 seconds during his entire little promotion for his app. And he does state that 50% of all the profit from the app is going directly to the artist, which seems like a half-decent split considering that people typically don't pay anything to the artist with the introduction of AI nowadays. And then you have the fact that the app is free to use in its entirety. It does have ads, but let's be fair, what doesn't nowadays? So if you want to use the app to just download wallpapers for free, support one of your favorite YouTubers, and some of that money you make also goes to the artists, But even if you know every detail about the situation from the video that Marquez put out, even if you watched all 90 seconds of everything that he said about the app, I know it's asking a lot, it still feels like there's a little bit of gray area here. As that one comment pointed out, the only way that you can download the wallpapers for free is to sit through 2 unskippable ads, which as a YouTuber, when that's one of the biggest headaches of people watching your channel is the unskippable ads, it feels like a little bit of a kick in the dick, right? And then even after watching the ads, you can only download the wallpapers in 1080p? You can't even get the full resolution of the wallpapers for watching those ads? I mean, sure, are you basically asking to get something for free from somebody who's asking you to download their app? Yeah, I mean, that's a little stupid. But on the flip side, you're asking for people to pay $50 a year for images. This is just, it feels like most people are just gonna think this feels like NFTs. I understand it's not the same thing, but you get what I mean, right? And the rough part is that he states that it's for future development of the app, that there's more stuff coming, that he doesn't want to promise too much, but the app is going to be more than it is right now, or at least that's the game plan. And if you want to support that and the app in its entirety, then you can sign up for the $50 a year subscription if you want to. But that kind of sounds like paying money for future promises, which is what you told us not to do to companies, right? I want to be very clear here. I do think in 2024, asking your audience of 20 million subscribers on a video about the iPhone that you know is going to get so many people watching, everybody on your channel, new people to your channel because of how big this video is, and you decide to launch an app that lets you download wallpapers for either $50 a year or by watching 2 unskippable ads, that's a silly idea. But at the same time, take a look at Marquez's channel and the work that he does, the number of things that he has to give up in order to maintain his journalistic integrity when reviewing the products that he does. He is one of the biggest tech reviewers on YouTube, and he can't accept free phones, free cameras. He can't take anything free that he's then going to end up reviewing. For a lot of people that want to be tech YouTubers, receiving stuff for free is the whole reason they even want to do that. And because Marquez's entire channel is about being critical about products that are coming out, he is held probably to the highest standard of what brands he can work with when it comes to doing sponsorships for his own channel, because if there's any faults in their armor that makes them not look like a very good sponsor, it looks super bad on a dude who spends all day critiquing other companies' business practices, you know? You're never gonna see Marquez do an ad for like Genshin Impact or Raid Shadow Legends. Even if they'd pay him a stupid amount of money for him to keep doing stuff on his channel, he has to say no to that. And so keeping all of that in mind while watching people like Mr. Beast and Logan Paul get away with scamming people out of money literally, to watch somebody who's actually making a concentrated effort to make good, authentic, the sorts of YouTube videos that you want to see on the platform. I want to see this dude succeed, and the best he could come up with is this app, which overall feels harmless. Probably thought of adding the $50 subscription as just an add-on midway through developing it because he just wanted to share his wallpapers, and now it'd be received this poorly on the scale of all of these other scam artist YouTubers. Like, it's being put up there with that kind of drama. This feels bad, dude. Is there a situation where it doesn't matter what Marques Brownlee could have announced? It could have been an app, it could have been another pair of sneakers, it could have been his own smartphone. Doesn't matter what he does, or would it have been met with the exact same amount of negative feedback and criticism, because that's what his biggest headlines have been recently, and that's what everybody's mind has been with the whole Lunchley situation and Logan Paul's multiple endeavors? Is everybody just primed to tear down any YouTuber launching any product at this point? Or was there a correct way to do this? Could Marques have made the app completely free and just had ads and not had any subscription model? And would that have been good enough? Could he have made it so that if you did watch the ads, you got the full resolution wallpaper, and so there was a completely free way to access the highest quality images, and then nobody would have anything to complain about other than, hey, your mobile app has ads? I think that would have been an improvement and might be something that they do to remedy this going forward. It's a little bit of a complicated issue. There are ways that you could have made this better, but it basically would have just been, hey, give me everything for free and I want to give you nothing. But at the same time, like I said, I feel kind of bad for Marques. He's a massive channel, but he can't access the same resources that a lot of other people with 20 million subscribers could, because he doesn't do the sort of shady, low-level sponsorships that you see on a lot of other channels that have less journalistic integrity, overall integrity, than he does. Do you need more money when you're doing 50, 100 million views a month over the course of 4 or 5 channels? If you drive a Porsche and you review 100,000 cars like it's nothing on like your 3rd channel, is anybody going to give you any leeway if anything you make isn't perfect? I don't think anybody on the internet right now is in the mood to give leeways to anybody who has a giant YouTube channel. Everybody just sort of gets seen as somebody who is shilling a product to make more money when they already have tons of money. I want Marques to succeed. I think he's a good dude. I think he makes good content. I think as the face of YouTube, he would be one of the better options. And as a result, I would like to see endeavors that he partakes in and puts effort into do well, because I think he means to do right by them. I feel like you could have seen from a mile away that this wasn't going to be received well with the way that you launched it in its current state. And I feel like people, like, if you're going to do something in tech and you're a tech channel and you've been doing it for as long as you have, I mean, people's standards are going to be way up here. Like, you can't give them any reason to bitch about an app when you are the smartphone guy, you know what I mean? Anyway, I was going to tell you guys to download my new app Thirsty that lets you download a glass of water from your kitchen sink after watching 3 hours and 45 seconds of an ad, but it kind of feels like that's a little bit soured at this point. So instead, I'll just say thank you so much for watching the video. Please remember to subscribe if you want to see my videos coming out every single day. And please check out Into the AM for so nicely sponsoring this video. The link is in the description, or use code Sumito for 10% off their brand new fall collection. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Shpisu.